Frog Princess. In some kingdom, in some state there was a king, and he had 3 sons. Junior's name was Ivan Tsarevich. Once called the king of sons and told them, "My dear children, you're all at your age now. It's time for you and your brides to think about it. Who should we marry, father? And you take the arrow, stretch your tight bows and shoot arrows in different directions. Where the arrow falls, you'll get married." The brothers went out to the wide father's yard, pulled their tight bows and shot. The older brother fired the arrow. An arrow fell on the boyar's yard, and lifted her boyar's daughter. The middle brother fired the arrow, and the arrow flew to the rich merchant's yard. Her merchant's daughter picked her up. Ivan the Tsarevich fired an arrow. His arrow flew straight into the swamp, and picked up her frog squares. The older brothers went to look for their arrows and found them at once, one in the boyar's prison, the other in the merchant's yard. And Ivan the Tsarevich couldn't find his arrow for a long time. He walked through the woods and mountains for 2 days, and on the 3rd day he went into the swamp. "Look, there's a frog and a crotch sitting there, holding his arrow." Ivan Tsarevich wanted to run away and give up his discovery, and the frog says, "Quack quack, Ivan the Tsarevich, come here, take your arrow and marry me." Ivan the Tsarevich is saddened and answers, "How am I going to get you married? People will laugh at me." "Take it, Ivan the Tsarevich. You won't regret it," thought Ivan Tsarevich, took a frog squater, wrapped it in a handkerchief and brought it to his kingdom state. "The older brothers are here to see their father, telling us where the arrow went." So did Ivan the Tsarevich. His brothers laughed at him, and his father said, "Get the Koshchei. There's nothing you can do about it." Here were 3 weddings: married Tsarevich, the senior Tsarevich, on the boyar, the average, on the merchant's daughter, and Ivan Tsarevich, on the frog squares. The day after the wedding, the king called his sons and said, "Well, my dear sons, now you 3 are all married. I'd like to know if your wives can bake bread. Have them bake me some bread by morning." The princes bowed to their father and went. Ivan Tsarevich turned to his chambers and hanged his head below his shoulders. "Quack quack, Ivan the Tsarevich," says the frog, "why are you so sad? Or did you hear your father say a bad word?" "How can I not be sad?" answers Ivan the Tsarevich. "My father ordered you to bake your own loaf of bread by morning." "Don't push it, Ivan the Tsarevich. Get some sleep and rest. The morning of the evening is wiser." The Tsarevich's queen went to bed, and she threw off her frog skin and turned into a red girl, Vasilisa the Wise, so beautiful, that neither in the fairy tale nor in the pen to describe. She took frequent lattices, small sieves, sieve wheat flour, kneaded white dough, baked loaf, loose and soft, painted loaf with different patterns wise. On the sides, cities with palaces, gardens and towers, from above, flying birds, from below, beasts snarling. Ivan the Tsarevich wakes up in the morning. "It's time. Ivan the Tsarevich, get up, bring the loaf." I put the loaf on a gold platter, escorted Ivan the Tsarevich to his father. The older brothers also came and brought their own caravans, but they had nothing to look at. The boyar's daughter's bread burned down, the merchant's daughter's bread burned down, and the merchant's one was raw and oblique. The king first received a loaf from the elder prince, looked at it and ordered to take it to the dogs in the yard. I took it from the middle one, looked at it and said, "You'll be eating that kind of caravan just for a lot of need." The line reached Ivan the Tsarevich. The king took the king's loaf from him and said, "This bread is only for the big holidays." And then he gave his sons a new order. "I'd like to know how your wives can do their handicrafts. Take the silk, gold, and silver, and let them weave their hands into my carpet overnight." The eldest princes returned to their wives and gave them the royal order. Wives started clicking on moms, nannies and red girls to help them weave carpets. Immediately moms, nannies and red girls gathered and started weaving and embroidering carpets. Who is the silver? Who is the gold? Who is the silk? And Ivan Tsarevich went home without any weight, and hanged his head below his shoulders. "Quack quack, Ivan the Tsarevich," says the frog, "why are you so sad? Or did you hear your father say something bad?" "How can I not spin?" answers Ivan the Tsarevich. "Father ordered him to weave a pattern carpet in one night." "Don't push it, Ivan the Tsarevich. Get some sleep and rest. The morning of the evening is wiser." She put him to bed and threw off her frog skin, turned into a red girl, Vasilisa Premudra, and started weaving the carpet. Where the needle stabs once, the flower blossoms. Where it stabs another time, cunning patterns go. Where the third stabs, birds fly. The sun's not up yet, and the carpet's ready. All 3 brothers have come to the king. brought their own carpet. The king had taken the carpet from the elder prince before, looked at it and said, "This carpet only covers horses with rain." I took it from the average, looked at it and said, "Only at the gate to make him do it." I took it from Ivan the Tsarevich, looked at it and said, "And this rug in my maid's room is for the big holidays to spread out." And then the king gave a new order to all three princes to come to his feast with their wives. The king wants to see which of them dances better. The princes went to their wives. Ivan Tsarevich is going to be sad, he thinks. How will I take my Quaker to the Tsar's feast? He came home unhappy. His Quaker asks, again, Ivan the Tsarevich. He wasn't happy. He hung his head under his shoulders. "What are you sad about?" "How can I not be sad? This is Ivan the Tsarevich. Father ordered me to bring you to his feast tomorrow." "Don't be sorry, Ivan the Tsarevich. Get down on your feet and go to sleep. The morning of the evening is wiser." The next day, when it's time to go to the feast, the Quaker says to the prince, "Well, Ivan the Tsarevich, go alone to the royal feast, and I'll follow you. When you hear the knocking and thunder, don't be afraid. Say, 'That must be my frog in the box.'" Ivan the Tsarevich went to the king's feast alone, and the older brothers came to the palace with their wives dressed up and disassembled. They're laughing at Ivan the Tsarevich. "What are you doing here, brother, without your wife? If only I had brought her in a handkerchief, and let us all hear her cry." Suddenly, there was a knock and thunder. The whole palace was shaken up and shaken. All the guests got all worked up, jumped out of their seats, and Ivan the Tsarevich says, "Don't be afraid, dear guests. That must be my frog in my box." Everybody ran up to the windows and saw. Speedwalkers were running, the messengers were jumping, and a gilded carriage was following them. 3 horses were harnessed. The carriage approached the porch, and Vasilisa the Wise came out of it, as the sun itself shines brightly. Everybody admires her, can't say anything out of surprise. She took Vasily the Wise Ivan the Tsarevich by the hands and led him to the oak tables, to the patterned tablecloths. The guests are eating, drinking, having fun. Vasilisa the Wise drinks from the cup, does not finish, pours the rest of his left sleeve. Fried swan eats bones by the right sleeve. The wives of the elders of the Tsarevichs saw it and put it in the same place. What they do not finish, they pour into the sleeve. What they do not finish, into another one. Why, they don't know what they're doing. How the guests got up from the table. The music started. The dancing started. Vasilisa the Wise dancer went to dance with Ivan the Tsarevich. The white swans swam on the lake, waved their left sleeve. The lake became a lake, waved their right sleeve. The king and all the guests were given a diva, and when she stopped dancing, it all disappeared. The lake and the swans. Let's go dancing with the wives of the elders. How they waved their left sleeves. All the guests were splattered. How they waved their right sleeves. The bones were splattered. The king's bones almost knocked out his eyes. The king was angry and ordered them to be kicked out of the maid's room. When the feast was over, Ivan the Tsarevich took a minute and ran home, found frog skin and burned it on fire. Vasilisa the Wise came home, bragging, "No frog skin." She threw herself out looking for her. I didn't find it, and I told Ivan the Tsarevich, "Ah, Ivan the Tsarevich, what have you done? If you'd waited 3 more days, I'd be yours forever. And now goodbye, seek me for the 3 to 9 lands, for the 3 to 9 seas, in the 30th kingdom, in the sunflower state, at Koshchei the immortal. Like 3 pairs of iron boots, like 3 iron breads, you'll find me." She said. She turned into a white swan and flew out the window, tanned by Ivan the Tsarevich. He got dressed up, took a bow and arrow, put on iron boots, put 3 iron bread in his shoulder bag, and went to look for his wife, Vasilisa the Wise. Was it long, short, close, far away? Soon the fairy tale effects, but not soon it is done. 2 pairs of iron boots worn out, 2 iron bread gnawed at the 3rd began, and then an old man met him. "Hello, Grandpa, this is Ivan the Tsarevich." "Hello, good for you. What are you looking for? Where are you going?" Told Ivan the old man his grief. "Ivan the Tsarevich," says the old man, "why did you burn the frog's skin? You didn't wear it, you didn't take it off." Vasilisa the Wise, cunning wise of her father, Koshchei the immortal, was born. He was angry at her and ordered her to be a Quaker for 3 years. "Well, there's nothing to do, you can't fix it with words of distress. Here's a little ball for you. Where he's going, you go too. Ivan Tsarevich thanked the old man and went to get the ball. A ball of balls rolls on high mountains, rolls on dark woods, rolls on green meadows, rolls on thin bogs, rolls on deaf places, and Ivan Tsarevich goes for him, will not stop on rest for an hour. Shell, third pair of iron boots wasted, third pair of iron bread was gnawed and came to the dense wood. He gets a bear to meet him. Let me kill the bear, thinks Ivan Tsarevich. I don't have any more food. He's aiming, and the bear suddenly speaks to him in a human voice. Don't kill me, Ivan Tsarevich. Someday you'll need me. Ivan Tsarevich didn't touch the bear, regretted it, moved on. He's going in a clear field. Look, and a big spleen is flying over him. Ivan Tsarevich pulled a bow, wanted to put a sharp arrow in the spleen, and the spleen and speaks to him as a human being. Don't kill me, Ivan Tsarevich. If you had time, you'll need me. Ivan Tsarevich had pity on the spleen. He did not touch him. He went further hungry. Suddenly he's running towards him with a slanting hare. I'm gonna kill that hare, thinks the Tsarevich. I'm really hungry. He pulled his tight bow, started aiming, and the hare tells him in a human voice, don't ruin me, Ivan Tsarevich. If you had time, you'll need me. And he was pitied by the prince, moved on. He went out to the blue sea and saw, on the shore, on the yellow sand, lies a pike fish. This is Ivan Tsarevich. Well, I'm gonna eat that pike now. I don't have my urine anymore. I'm hungry. Ah, Ivan Tsarevich, said the pike. Have mercy on me. Do not eat me. Throw me into the blue sea. Ivan Tsarevich took pity on the pike, threw it into the sea, and went by the shore behind his ball. It's been a long time, a short time. A ball of balls rolled into the woods, into the hut. There's that hut on the chicken legs, turning around. This is Ivan Tsarevich. Hut, turn to the woods backwards. To me in front of me. The hut turned to the woods backwards and to him in front of him. Ivan Tsarevich entered the hut and sees. He lies on the furnace of Baba Yaga, bone leg. She saw the prince and said, why did you come to see me, good boy? Will? Oh, Baba Yaga's a bone leg. You would feed me first, get me drunk, and then you would ask me out? And it's true, is answered by Baba Yaga. She fed Ivan Tsarevich, got drunk, evaporated in the bath. And the Tsarevich told her that he was looking for his wife, Vasily the Wise. I know, says Baba Yaga. She's with the villain Koshchei the Immortal now. It'll be hard to get it. It's not easy to get it with Koshchei. He can't be killed by an arrow or a bullet. That's why he's not afraid of anyone. Is there a place where he died? His death is at the end of the needle. That needle is in the egg, that egg in the duck, that duck in the hare, that hare in the wrought iron box. And that box on top of the old oak tree, and that oak tree grows in the woods. Told Baba Yaga Ivan Tsarevich how to get to that oak tree. The prince thanked her and went. For a long time he sneaked through the dense forests in the swampy elm and finally came to Koshchei's oak tree. It is worth the oak. The top of the clouds rests. The roots of 100 miles in the earth spread. Branches of the red sun closed, and on top of it is a wrought iron box. Ivan Tsarevich looks at the oak and doesn't know what to do. How to get a box? He thinks. Is there a bear somewhere? He would have helped me. I was just thinking, and the bear came running in here and turned the oak with roots. The casket fell off the top and crashed into small pieces. A hare jumped out of the box and started learning. Somewhere my hare, thinks the Tsarevich. He would have caught up with that hare. I didn't have time to think about it, but the hare was here. He caught another hare, grabbed it and ripped it in half. A duck flew out of the hare and went high into the sky. Somewhere my spleen, thinks the Tsarevich. And the spleen flies behind the duck, and it bites your head. I dropped a duck egg, and that egg fell into the blue sea. Ivan Tsarevich stood on the shore and said, somewhere my pike? She'd give me an egg from the bottom of the sea. Suddenly he swims up to the shore of the pike fish and keeps an egg in his teeth. Here you go, Ivan Tsarevich. The Tsarevich rejoiced, broke an egg, pulled out a needle and broke her tip, and only to break it off. Koshchei the Immortal died, ashes fell apart. Ivan Tsarevich went to the Koshchei chamber. Vasily the Wise came out here to see him and said, well, Ivan Tsarevich, you managed to find me. Now I'll be yours for the whole century. Ivan Tsarevich chose the best horse from the Koshchei stables, sat on it with Vasily the Wise and turned to his kingdom state. And they began to live together, in love and harmony.